Hey guys, Dan with Pain For You. This video, probably not going to be really long, but how to select a TMS therapist or coach, right? Because you'd be surprised at the stories I hear. I hear people saying, oh, I was working with this therapist, and 6 months later I'm not getting any better. And they're even supposed to be TMS therapists. And, you know, some of these TMS therapists are talking like, hey, they don't even believe in TMS, but yet they're using the TMS therapist label to attract clients. And so when it comes to selecting a therapist, my belief is we should have the opportunity to interview them before we start giving them our money, our trust, and our business, right? So first of all, if you're going to a TMS therapist, first question I would ask is, tell me your story with TMS. What did you go through? Right? Great question to ask, because if it's a therapist who's never experienced pain or chronic symptoms, I would question their ability to help you because they don't understand it. They haven't been through it. You know, look, maybe they can help you uncover some emotional stuff. I'm not a big fan of therapy because from all of the stories I have heard, their typical model, and look, I'm going to bastardize this, and any therapists that are listening to this are probably going to say, Dan, you've got it all wrong. There are fantastic therapists out there who do fantastic work and can really help people out with some really intense, deep stuff psychologically. But I will say, as it relates to TMS, if they don't understand that the core goal of this emotional discovery is to feel our emotions, allow them to be felt, and then allow them to pass, and all they want to do is revisit your childhood 46 times in a row for an hour each session for the rest of the year, how is that going to help you heal? Do they know that we want to work on a better mindset where we're not focusing on the symptoms as much? So really, great question is, tell me your TMS story. You're a TMS therapist. When did you learn about Dr. Sarno and this mind-body concept? How long have you been practicing as a TMS therapist? How long did you have pain or symptoms for? And, you know, through no disrespect at all of the people who are calling themselves TMS therapists because they read a Dr. Sarno book and they think they can help you. Maybe they can. Maybe they're great. Maybe they're very empathetic and they understand the concepts. But if they haven't been through it, it's going to be really challenging for that person to do a great job in helping you. So, if you want to go to therapy, great. Dr. Sarno even said some people require therapy because they have some challenges which they need to overcome. And yes, therapists can be wonderful for that. But be careful with who you select, because I've heard way too many horror stories that people say, yeah, I've been in therapy for 2 years and it hasn't helped me. It hasn't helped me get over my past. It hasn't helped me do anything. I even heard one lady say, yeah, I've been going to a certain TMS therapist and I had a childhood that I thought was pretty good. And by the end of 6 weeks of working with this therapist convinced me that my mother was horrible and she was the cause of everything, and that I had a horrific childhood. And so this woman reframed my entire childhood, which I thought was actually kind of okay. Yeah, everybody's got some childhood trauma. But the therapist literally convinced this young lady that her childhood was awful and her mother was the problem about everything. And so how therapeutic is that? How is that helping this person? It's not. And so really be cautious. If you walk out of your first therapy appointment and go, yeah, that really doesn't seem like it's the right way to go, don't set a second appointment. There's no obligation for that. But better yet, spend 5-10 minutes on the phone with the person before you book the appointment. Hey, I'd like to get to know you a little bit. Therapy's a big deal to me, and I want to I want to make sure I'm working with somebody that understands what I'm going through. And if they've never had this chronic pain or chronic symptoms, and beat it. So ask them point blank, why do you feel that you can help me with TMS? And why are you assigning that label of a TMS therapist if you haven't experienced this before? And honestly, the same goes for a TMS coach, right? Has your TMS coach been through pain, suffering, illness, and come out the other side? And if it's somebody who had back pain for 6 weeks and says, wow, Sarno fixed me and I'm great, and now they're a coach, is that really the guy who can help you out when you're struggling after 2 years or after 5 years or, whatever? So the personal experience is why I think my recommendations stick with people. People seem to think that, yeah, this guy gets it. And how is that coming true? Because the things I talk about resonate with you and go, yeah, that sounds just like me. So pick your therapist and coach carefully and make sure that they have not just an experience, but a lengthy one with what this stuff is. Because if they haven't struggled for years and failed and made all the mistakes, how are they going to keep you from making the mistakes? So this is not at all to bash on therapy. It's not at all to bash on TMS coaches, but just beware of who you're taking advice from. And I don't know. And if a TMS therapist or coach is telling you how difficult this is and it's going to be a lifetime battle, I'm not sure I'd hire that person, because what are they doing? They're setting a belief that you're going to now choose to listen to and say, this is going to be awful, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be lifetime, and you'll always have to do this work. Well, look, I don't do a daily practice every day. I don't. Why? Because I have this concrete, firm belief that my brain does not need to create symptoms for me to protect me from emotions. And I have become the type of person that just feels my emotions. And so, pick your therapist, pick your coach wisely, interview them, look for their story, look for their history. And if you can't find somebody with the history that resonates with you, keep on looking, all right? But a lot of people are attaching the TMS label to themselves because there's a niche here. And so I hope this doesn't sound, like I'm bashing anybody, because there's a lot of well-meaning good people out there who are trying to do good work. But if they haven't gone through the fire like you are currently, it's going to be hard. It's like saying, I want to go learn how to be a professional golfer. And you're going to learn from a guy who made it into the high school golf team and never went farther. Is that the person you want to learn from? So, what do you guys think? Have you struggled with this? I'd love to hear some stories about your TMS therapy and coaching, mishaps, if you will. And no, don't name names. Don't name where you went to go see these people. But just, if you want to, share and say, yeah, this is what I did and it didn't work out. And, at the end, here's why I figured out that it didn't work. So other people can learn from your mistakes. And literally, these videos I do every day is sharing my mistakes with you so you can hopefully learn and shortcut. It took me 13 years to figure this stuff out on my own before the internet was really a big, big thing, and there was no YouTube videos. There wasn't even YouTube. But learn from other people's mistakes. Share your mistakes here. And I'm not doing this to bash therapy. I think therapy can be a really, really useful tool. Just pick the right therapist. And if you're 3 visits in and they're making you feel like this isn't going anywhere, so either challenge them, ask them the question, not in an aggressive way, but just, hey, where are we going with this? My goal is to feel these emotions and not reactivate things that aren't bothering me, that haven't bothered me in decades. So why are we going back there and reliving them so that they bother me now? How's that helping me get over the pain? Right? and bring it around to what's the ultimate goal of this practice that you're doing for 50 minutes at a cost of, in some cases, pretty high dollars. So again, my recommendations on picking a therapist or coach as it relates to TMS and chronic pain or symptoms: pick somebody who's been through the fire. And with that, I'm going to let you go. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.